This man survived prison, a hunt, betrayal, and even death, only to return as a living nightmare for criminals. Now he tames wild beasts and battles mutants, never suspecting that his greatest enemy is much closer than he thinks. A prison truck rumbles through the snowy wilderness of Siberia, carrying inmates sentenced to life behind bars. They are transported to an isolated prison colony, where each criminal is confined to a cell. One of the men is named Kraven. He confidently assures his cellmate that he will stay here for 3 days at most. The next day, Kraven is lifting weights in the prison yard when 2 inmates approach him and try to provoke a fight. Kraven deals with them swiftly and without hesitation. The protagonist is taken to the local crime lord, an arms dealer named Semyon Chorny. Kraven tells him that he is a hunter and that men like Semyon are his prey. After that, he pulls a fang from the tiger rug and eliminates the crime boss and his sidekicks in a matter of seconds. Kraven takes down a guard, climbs up to the roof, and tears the grate off a ventilation shaft. The prison camp goes into lockdown. An entire convoy pursues Kraven, but he manages to dodge the gunfire and escape. A snowstorm begins, and a starving wolf approaches Kraven. Strangely, the predator hesitates to attack the man. Soon, a plane arrives to pick the main character up. Kraven tells the pilot about his escape and wipes the prison tattoo from his neck. Later, guards discover a body in the snow bearing the same tattoo and assume it is Kraven. We flash back 16 years. Kraven and his brother both attend a prestigious academy. One day, their father, Nikolai, arrives and takes the boys with him. He explains that their mother has passed away. But instead of attending her funeral, they're going on a grand hunt. We meet a girl named Calypso. Her grandmother teaches her how to use tarot cards to foresee the future. Moreover, she gives the girl a mysterious elixir that can cure any illness and open the gateway to another world. Calypso picks up one of the cards and hears a gunshot. It's Kraven's father showing his sons how to hunt properly. At this point, the protagonist isn't yet called Kraven. His name is Sergei Kravenov, and his brother is Dmitri. Nikolai tells the boys not to fear death. The only thing anyone should fear is a human. In the evening, the brothers make camp and confess that they hate their father. A lion's roar can be heard in the distance, but Nikolai arrogantly dismisses it, claiming it's only a cub. Morning comes, and the hunt continues. Nikolai humiliates his associate Alexei, calling him too weak and unworthy to be his partner. Sergei and Dmitri fall behind the group and come face to face with the very same lion. Kraven aims at the predator, but can't pull the trigger. A shot rings out, but it is fired by his father. The wounded lion leaps at the main character, sinks its fangs into him, and carries the boy off into the savannah. Meanwhile, Calypso is riding in a car with her parents. She studies one of her tarot cards closely, then suddenly jumps out of the vehicle and runs into the savannah. There, she finds the lion and the badly injured Sergei. When the beast finally retreats, Calypso rushes to the boy and pours a few drops of her grandmother's magical elixir into his mouth. Soon, a helicopter arrives and takes Sergei to the hospital. Before it leaves, Calypso gives the boy her tarot card. His heart stops during the flight, and the medics fail to revive him. But thanks to the magical elixir, the youngster suddenly comes back to life. He gazes intently at the tarot card in his hand. Before long, Kraven returns home and reads the letters his mother wrote him. His father shows him the mounted head of the very predator that nearly killed him and declares that Kraven must become just like him and carry on the family's illegal business. Enraged, Kraven storms off. He notices a large bird of prey tapping at his bedroom window. That very night, the youngster packs his belongings and tries to escape across the roof. He slips and falls, but lands lightly, like a cat. After saying goodbye to Dmitri, Kraven leaves his family home for good. The protagonist sets out on a long journey aboard a large ship, spending many days at sea before reaching the Far East. He finds himself standing in the path of a charging herd of buffalo in the wild steppe, yet not a single animal knocks him down. Kraven discovers an old house and reflects on his past. The youngster senses that he has developed extraordinary abilities. He tries to catch a deer, but fails. Still, he can now climb trees with remarkable skill, and possesses incredibly sharp hearing. When Kraven comes across two poachers who have slaughtered an entire herd of buffalo, he punishes them for their cruelty. Afterward, he stares thoughtfully at his blood-stained hands. We return to the present day. An adult Kraven is flying on a plane, studying the same tarot card Calypso once gave him. After landing, he walks to a lake, listens to voice messages from his brother, then catches a large fish with his bare hands and begins eating it. A group of poachers shows up not far from his home. Kraven blocks their path and warns them to turn back, but the men ignore him. A fatal mistake. Within minutes, only 2 of the poachers remain alive. Their lives, however, are also cut short when Kraven tracks them down. We see that Calypso has grown up and become a successful lawyer. This young woman is a true fighter for justice. One day, Kraven finds her and shows her the same tarot card. Calypso realizes that he is the very boy she saved 16 years ago. Kraven admits that he has become a hunter and that no criminal in the world can hide from him. Meanwhile, Semyon Chorny's gang learns what happened to their boss and vows revenge on the mysterious hunter. A criminal nicknamed Rhino is chosen as the new leader. He is none other than Alexei, the man Nikolai Kravinov used to humiliate. He earned the name Rhino because of a strange mutation in his skin, which is now so tough that even bullets can't pierce it. We discover that Dmitri has a special talent as well. He can perfectly imitate any voice. That's why he is called the chameleon. One of their father's lavish parties ends in a massive brawl and shootout, leaving only a few people alive. Dmitri hides beneath his piano, and his father later scolds him for cowardice. It turns out that Rhino and his men were behind the attack. He wants Nikolai dead. Rhino also learns that it was Nikolai's son, Sergei, who killed Semyon Chorny. He appears to be the mysterious hunter. Kraven travels to London for his brother Dmitri's birthday. The brothers talk about the nightclub shooting, and Dmitri admits that he panicked and hid under the piano. Nikolai shows up shortly. Kraven reluctantly shakes his father's hand, and the family raises their glasses to celebrate Dmitri's birthday. Kraven spends the night sleeping outside and returns to his brother's apartment in the morning, only to find that Dmitri is gone. He's been kidnapped by Rhino's mercenaries. Kraven tries to catch up with the criminals, but even his super speed, his ability to scale walls, and his talent for leaping from great heights are not enough. The gangster's armored vehicle is barely damaged by his punch, but he loses his balance and falls at a sharp turn. Kraven is determined to stop the helicopter carrying Dmitri away. He takes down one of the gunmen and hangs on to the improvised webbing ladder. Unfortunately, moments later, he crashes into a sea buoy and plummets into the water. Kraven rushes to Calypso and asks for her help. He explains to his friend that Dmitri has been abducted and demands that she find out who is responsible. Calypso's database contains profiles of the world's most dangerous criminals. Moreover, she has connections with powerful figures who provide her with information, although not all of it is reliable. We find out that Rhino was involved in the kidnapping, along with another criminal known as the Foreigner. He possesses a unique ability, hypnosis. Kraven confronts his father and learns that the kidnappers demand $20 million for Dmitri's release. Nikolai refuses to pay a ransom for his own son, and this infuriates Kraven. Calypso soon discovers that Dmitri is being held in an old Turkish monastery and gives Kraven the coordinates. The protagonist immediately heads there, scales the walls with ease, slips inside, and quietly eliminates a couple of guards while looking for his brother. However, it turns out to be a trap set by the Foreigner and Rhino. A brutal shootout erupts, followed by several explosions that bring down part of a massive stone wall. Kraven is buried beneath a pile of heavy rubble. Rhino visits Dmitri and reveals that he's just a bait to lure the real target, Sergei. Still, the villain believes the dangerous hunter is no longer alive. He is wrong. Miraculously, Kraven survives beneath the debris. He calls Calypso to warn her of impending danger. Realizing the threat, she quickly gathers her things and flees her office. Alexei tells Dmitri that he volunteered for a special experiment that granted him the strength and endurance of a rhinoceros. His skin became incredibly tough, but he now has to endure constant, excruciating pain. Rhino offers Dmitri a chance to join forces and overthrow his father together, yet the young man refuses to betray his family. The foreigner shows up soon after. The two are friends and allies. When Rhino learns that Kraven is still alive, he asks the foreigner to eliminate the hunter using his unique ability, hypnosis. Meanwhile, Kraven and Calypso flee to Siberia, where he spent his youth. During a walk through the wilderness, a jaguar attacks them. The protagonist defeats the animal in a fair fight and then asks Calypso to reveal the formula of the mysterious elixir that saved his life 16 years ago. She refuses to answer this question. Rhino, the foreigner, and Dmitri head to Siberia to track down Kraven. The criminals are determined to eliminate him, so they bring along an entire special forces unit. Suddenly, the same jaguar attacks them. Taking advantage of the chaos, Dmitri escapes into the forest. Kraven is also hiding there. He effortlessly takes out the entire unit of mercenaries using a series of cleverly set traps. A helicopter appears overhead and drops a load of explosives on Kraven. The protagonist manages to get away, but someone hits him with a dart laced with a neurotoxin. The man immediately loses his grip on reality and begins to hallucinate. Before long, the foreigner shows up. Using his hypnosis, he brutally beats Kraven and prepares to finish him off. At the last moment, Calypso saves the protagonist with her crossbow. She eliminates the foreigner and uses her elixir for the second time to bring Kraven back to life. Rhino tracks down Dmitri and takes him hostage once again. However, the criminal's vehicle is overtaken by a stampede of enraged buffalo. Alexei fully embraces his transformation into Rhino and engages Kraven in a fierce battle. Kraven realizes that he can't defeat such a powerful opponent alone. Rhino's skin is virtually impenetrable. To solve this problem, Kraven ties Rhino to one of the raging buffalo and sends him on what is usually a one-way journey. Survival after that is nearly impossible. That's when the protagonist learns that the person who provided Rhino with all the information about him was his father. He tracks down Nikolai and demands an explanation. The man admits that he used Kraven as a pawn to get rid of Rhino, who had become his main rival. Kraven secretly steals Nikolai's ammunition so that he won't be able to defeat a bear on his next hunt. A year later, Kraven visits Dmitri and discovers that his younger brother has voluntarily inherited their father's illegal business. Moreover, Dmitri has also begun participating in experiments similar to the one that turned Alexei into Rhino. Dmitri tells his brother that he is no better than their father and bids him farewell. It turns out that his new super ability is the power to change his appearance. He has become a true chameleon. Kraven returns home and finds a note from Nikolai, along with a vest made from the hide of the very lion that once attacked him. He puts on his father's gift